It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today, we got some video suggestions from one of you guys in the Discord community, if not multiple of you guys, that were suggesting this video to be discussed from Evilvora. Now, the one we're talking about specifically is actually being suggested by Cozy, as well as it looks like Unworldly Lime as well, that suggested this video from Evilvora titled "Over 80% of killers are weak in high MMR." Now, I can say that from personal experience as somebody who has gotten Ghostface specifically to the high MMR level. It definitely is one of the most difficult experiences, especially if you're trying to win most of your games. It's definitely not the easiest thing in the world. Very difficult, in fact. Now, at least specifically talking about just high MMR in general, it's already going to be difficult, because if you are in that sort of level, you're going to be going against very intelligent players that are going to maximize everything that's in their within their sort of environment. You know, whether it be like check spotting, whether it be like shift tags, whether it be like cutting off ways to, like, you know, remove bloodlust, you know, gen speeds being through the roof. You know what I mean? Like, people are not really making many mistakes. They're not really being caught off guard by many mind games and things like that. Like, it just gets difficult because a lot of the times stuff that usually will work will not work anymore. I've pretty much seen it all, I think, at this point. And people have asked, like, how do you know for sure if you're in the higher MMR? And the only way I kind of knew I was is when utilizing just one strategy wasn't enough, right? Because the one strategy that's going to allow you to, you know, fold a lot of teams, especially like in like the lower to average MMRs, is just going after somebody immediately and getting them out of the game as soon as possible. Usually that's going to be very effective, because usually either they'll give up at that point or they're not strong enough in chase a lot of the time. So it tends to just kind of snowball after that. When I was continuing to use the strategies and then like they weren't working anymore, that's when I knew. I was like, yep, these people already have counters and already adapted to this playstyle or this strategy that I'm already doing. I have to now figure out new ways to work around this. And keep in mind, I'm also playing a low tier killer. Now, keep in mind that high MMR players are about 20% of the player base according to behaviors data that they released. So not too many, you know what I mean? Not too many. And they are saying that they're going to do a some sort of update or rework to the MMR system anyway. So we won't know until that comes out, or what, like, you know, whatever behavior will give us. But that's what we know so far. So I want to actually listen to Vora's points here, because we already know Vora's usually always cooking it up. And I'm noticing that it like progressively gets more what's the word for it? Like, very serious. Way less chill, a lot more serious and on point with what a lot of that Vora is trying to share here. I noticed that. You know, he's been adding in a lot of, I'm not going to sugarcoat this, but, and then here's the point. You know what I mean? So let's actually take a listen, and I'll have the original video linked in the description, because obviously I'm not covering the full video. It's just certain talking points within this.
I'm going to get straight into the video here with a hot take. And if you don't agree with me, I could care less. Listen, 80% of the killer roster is weak, underwhelming, and will fall to a decent Swift. Not even a good Swift. A decent Swift will generate you to oblivion.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had to stop it there because, once again, Vora's just cooking it up for us, bro. Like, 5-star gourmet Michelin meal, bro. It's insane. Michelin star meal right here. You would have thought he was Gordon Ramsay with how he's cooking right now. Because to me, I don't even think that's a hot take. I think that's just a normal take at this point. It doesn't seem too hot to me. I mean, maybe we're used to the heat, you know, being in the kitchen, but I'm just saying. To me, it's not a hot take. I think that's extremely accurate. It's been proven, you know what I mean? At least even from just looking at tier lists, looking at, you know, compare, even like you could even, I don't usually don't want to use comp as an example, but you can use comp to a level of an example, because even some of like the stronger killers, like in the A tiers, may struggle to get 2-3 kills half of the time, right? The gen speed has been the biggest issue. The gen speed has been the biggest issue for quite a while. It's been very, very, very obvious at this point that the gen speed is the biggest issue. It's some of the fastest that I've seen. It's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of insane. At this point, I have no idea what there is to do. I don't know how we're supposed to work around it at this point. You could pick some of the best characters and still see gens flying at the speed of light. So the variety in terms of trying to at least win a match is very low. And then obviously Blight already is, you know, going to get nerfed. So it's like, that's one less option. You know what I mean?
Now, I know we all seen the patch notes. The killers that I thought needed a nerf, a buff, did get a buff. But at what cost? 0.05% for Doctor, ladies and gentlemen. How does that make you guys feel? 0.05%. Behavior doesn't seem to even care about killer, and I doubt they even play killer. I think behavior does play their game, but I think they play it from a survivor's point of view. Doctor needed something way more than that. Every killer that does not have a form of mobility needs to be 4.8. Not everyone, obviously, but obviously Trapper, and there's a few more in there that should be 4.8s.
So that right there, I agree with Vora as well, because it is true. Like, a lot of their changes are very survivor favored lately. A lot of their developers are like very publicly saying that they are survivor mains. So it makes sense that they probably have no understanding as to what the killer experience is, or what the killers are looking for, or what the killers need. And my concern obviously is like, cool, we got buffs, but my concern is the fact that we won't receive any more changes for 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years, because like, oh, we already buffed them. And it's like, no, that's what happened with Ghostface. I mean, we've seen that like the last time he was buffed. That was like years ago at this point. So it's pretty safe to say it might be a while before he gets anything else. And you already have seen how long it took for the Myers rework. You already seen how long it took for even a Freddy rework, stuff like that. So at this point, I have no idea. And I'm just hoping that they'll give Ghostface more like this, like, oh, look, this more another side grade is like not enough. As you understand, like, these characters already are extremely weak against majority of players. Majority. Doctor especially. I look at Doctor as probably one of the worst characters in the game, mainly because you can't even use your power most of the chase. Because if you use it too much, you literally will lose distance and create an infinite for yourself. It's been proven. If you haven't seen it before, you have to look it up, do your research on how to play Doctor, because any Doctor player that is giving you information or trying to give you a guide will tell you, stop, don't spam it. You're gonna lose distance. You're gonna get slower. Every time you use it, you slow down. So don't keep spamming it. You have to use it maybe once or twice. Then you gotta run them down. Just get the smack with your your baton thing. And it's unfortunate because I'm like, damn, like his whole power is supposed to be to deny vaults or deny this with the right timing. And even if you time it correctly, you see them fly over the window. They fly over the pallet. You're like, the detonation hit. They screamed. Oh, no, they vaulted. And you're like, what? Like they gotta do something about that detonation delay, right? Because like you could time it correctly, like you're shocking them at the right time, and it's just like, nah, they didn't do anything. They just yelled and kept running. I'm like, okay, but like, isn't this his whole power to stop them from doing this? So Doctor's a good example of that. The only good changes I really could say were like Demogorgon for sure. Like they were completely outdated for like years at this point. Finally got some good changes from what I'm understanding. and an unknown got something, which is fine. I'm like, hey, the unknown needed it too. I just wish they would like try to revert the vanishing box, because that's a pretty much necessary add-on, especially with the new day and age that we live in with these gen speeds. But clearly not. And it's just terrible. I have a lot of issues with the frequency that they'll update Survivor. Like, they'll sit there and leave like broken things, like Streetwise being giving infinite item charge. Oh, they'll just leave that in. But for some reason, like, the killer stuff is getting patched out in a week. You're like, what is going on here? Why are they allowed to get an advantage in that sense? But the killer players are, they're immediately getting a kill switch and a patch immediately. It's the strangest thing to me. I'm like, I don't understand. Why is Streetwise not at the same level as something like the Legion it was currently? Infinite power, right? That's what they claimed, right? Oh yeah, the Legion had infinite power. But what about infinite items? Why are those not the same thing? Infinite's right there in the name. One's progressing their objective without any way to stop it. Infinite item charge versus infinite power. Stuff like that. It's like little examples we can pull from. It's like, it's just really strange that there's a weird double standard there. And that's just what I'm noticing. That's just going off of what has been done. That can be proven. You know what I mean? And that's my issue. We get these changes, but when are we gonna get more? You know? And that's my concern.
They barely touched any buffs with these low tier killers, and that's exactly why over half of the roster, 80% of the roster, if you're not playing a top 8 killer, top 7 killer, you're gonna suffer a little bit. You're gonna feel the wrath of Gen Rush. You're gonna feel the wrath of Pallet Density. Let's be honest, who even loops these days? I go against comp aces who swear that they're the most comp survivors in the world, teabagging at every single pallet drop, because they know that they're never in a situation where there's not another pallet to just run to. They run to a pallet, drop it, run to a pallet, drop it. They don't even go around the loop one time. It's almost like survivors has lost their sense of skill and even sense of, they almost feel lazy as running to a pallet, dropping it. Then they have the nerve to teabag them at 4, teabag you at 5 or 4 gens, as if they're the one that's doing anything. You better be glad that behavior is holding your fucking hand, because
I completely agree. Without a shadow of a doubt, I completely agree with that. That is 100% accurate. Because ultimately, that's what I'm seeing too. I mean, why would they loop? Why would they have skill? Why would they do those things? You know what I mean? Why would they? Right? Because they don't really have to, and that's my problem, right? They don't really have to do any of that. They don't have to work for their chases anymore, right? Pallet density made it that easy. Exhaustion spamming makes it that easy, right? I spoke about this many times. The pallet density, the map size, the overabundance of windows everywhere, adding all this like safety in every single area of the map. They're never in danger. So I mentioned to somebody on a stream at one point, those of you if you remember, you know what I'm talking about. Somebody came back, was saying, hey, I was coming back to the game. Is it any good? I don't play any killer. I play survivor. I'm like, hey, this is the perfect time to come back. You got everything that works in your favor right now. The healing's buffed, the speed, the haste is buffed, right? You got loads and loads of options now. You got more time on hooked. You got plenty of pallets. The dead zones are not even dead zones anymore because there's Z-walls and little windows, even in the corners of the map. Literally, there's nowhere to be in danger anymore. The healing's great. Even the gen speed's skyrocketing, right? So I told them, I'm like, hey, this is the perfect time for you. You can feast. I don't even understand what survivors are so upset about anymore, because it's like you have so much that is in your favor. That's what they're giving you. That's what behavior has been updating it for the casual survivor player. Why are they still upset? I don't know. You already got everything you wanted. You got plenty of pallets that they never reverted, because with the 2v8, all these pallets showed up. and the 1v4, and then they never said in a patch, oh yeah, we reverted that. Oh, that was a mistake. They just left it there. They didn't do anything. So I'm like, well, we don't know what happened to that. Right? You could take that into account. Windows are everywhere, right? Map sizes everywhere. Exhaustions are the easiest they could ever been. Sprint burst is fully meta. You still have decisive. Now it's a general perk, so anyone can bring decisive if they wanted to. Vigil and ghost notes. Options, like, you got plenty. So at this point, it's like, what is the need for skill on the survivor end? What is the need for that? You guys even see me play that one survivor game to get my challenges done. You guys saw it yourselves. Super easy. I didn't even have to stop at a pallet. Everywhere I ran was a new one. I'm like, yo, I don't even have to stop. I can keep holding W. Because no matter where I'm going, there's another piece of wood ready to go. You guys saw it. You guys saw it yourselves. Even with the Blood Moon event, we saw how easy it is. I saw with my you guys saw it firsthand. I picked up the canister, poured it in 30% in less than 5 seconds. You're like, what is this? Super fast. I'm like, yo, what? And then none of the slowdown. Oh, sure, the slowdown applies to the gens, but it does nothing to the gens. Because I'm progressing way faster than any of their regression could possibly hit. It's crazy.
Otherwise, with one or two less of these insanely crazy fillers, and you know, not to mention, there's literally 2 fillers besides Shack on damn near every map. You know, 2 good fillers. There's God fillers, there's double fillers, there's God pallets everywhere. Listen, you know that's what's saving you. Let's be honest. Fast track is saving you guys, and you fucking know it. That's besides the point. I just feel if you main any of these killers, B tier and below, I don't know how you're still doing it. You're you're loyal to your killer main. That's how you're doing it. Obviously, you're feeling the wrath of one simple thing, fast track. That's all it is, man. It's literally fast track, hyper focus, stakeout, commodious toolbox, wire spool, and a brand new part. That's what's beating you. It's not a survivor. So next time you get in your fucking head, killers, you get this little cloud. I want you to know you're not bad. You're doing just fine, really. Some games, if you're a lower tier killer especially, are genuinely unwinnable because you're not going against, it's not you versus them. And that's where you got to get it out of your ego.
I completely agree. I completely agree with Vora on that. And I've covered this in a previous video. And my biggest problem with the game right now is that I'm not actually playing against players. I'm playing against perks. And that applies to everyone. We're playing, if you're playing killer, you're playing against the perks. You're not playing against the player. It's really ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. And I don't entirely understand like why that's the case. I don't entirely understand why we have to endure that playing this game. Because at the end of the day, it's like, what input is there? Like, you have sprint burst, you're just pressing a button and flying away for free. You didn't have to unlock the perk. You didn't have to have it activate at some point by doing something. It's just there at any time you need it. It's like, what are we talking about? Fast track is another perfect example of that. It's free gen progress for just people dying, which is uncounterable pretty much. Because if I decide to hook everybody, I'm giving everyone free stacks. If I decided to play how I normally do, it might mitigate some of that, right? Because it's permanent progress. Now, hey, they reduce the amount that they're getting to like 1% per token, but I'm thinking they got to reduce the amount of tokens too. You should not have like 3% every time somebody's hooked up. I think it was much more than that, to be fair. But still, it's a brand new part at the drop of a hat. Now, I have to see how the new fast track does. I have to see if that's at least better than it is currently. And even if people say, "Oh, the fast track's not even that popular," it's still the It's still the gen speed at the end of the day. That's ridiculous. It's still the perks at the end of the day that are ridiculous. You never lose to the player. Because mind you, these players are not looping anything. They don't rotate around any tiles. They just shift W to another pallet, shift W to another pallet, shift W to another pallet, slam them all down. And because of how fast the gens can go, you just have to break or leave them. You know what I mean? So it's a lose-lose, right? If you leave them all down, they can keep holding W right back to them. If you decide to break them, that's more time wasted having to break them. All while that's happening, gens are going up. So it's like, what is there to do in response? And that applies to any survivor player you chase, right? Because you can say break off of that one person. You start chasing this one. Oh, pre-drop, run away, pre-drop, run away. Okay, I gotta leave now. Better go check somebody else. Oh, there they go. Running pre-drop. Run pre-drop. It's like, okay. Like, you're not gonna have enough time. Like, there really is not enough time.
Me, all killer mains have a form of an ego, which is a good thing. You don't want a high ego. You don't want that to overtake you, but you want a little bit of a flame. You know, every killer main needs a little bit of an ego. It makes them, you know, makes them feel more dominant, more confident. Because after all, it is you against 4 people. You need a little bit of a flame, and yeah, they're not beating me. They're not beating. You want that type of attitude whenever you play killer.
I agree with Vora on that too. That's the one thing that motivates you to even go through with anything. That could apply to DBD. That could apply to any game. It could apply to life. A little bit of an ego. You're like, yo, I'm not gonna lose against this, or I'm the underdog in this. I'm gonna make it out of this though. I'm gonna still win this. And you guys know full well I do partake in it a little bit because it's what keeps you going. It's the one thing that's gonna motivate you. Because if you don't got at least a little bit of some ego in there, you're gonna be like just getting absolutely steamrolled and flattened, and you're gonna feel terrible about yourself. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be doing that. But I want to hear what you guys think, man. Let me know in the comment section. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Consider hitting the like and the sub button for more stuff like this. I'll see you guys in the next one. And consider supporting by becoming a member or on YouTube or Patreon, or you can sub on Twitch. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's go ahead and read off these wonderful members. We got Patreon, Crow Vader. All my YouTube members, Brando, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not J-Lo, Evil Peach, Hargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. Really appreciate you guys supporting, man. And if you also subbed on Twitch, just know that you got love coming your way too. Appreciate you guys, man.